guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Abby and I heartily welcome you to the Caribbean and to my container garden here in Trinidad and Tobago. I probably didn't choose the best spot to start this intro right next to the chicken coop, but it's where I have the best lighting at the moment. It's a fantastic day, super bright. The air is finally clear of that Sahara surge that we had for the last week. Coming out into the garden last week was just not a wise thing to do. By the time you come outside, I started to feel tightness in my chest. That is how much dust was in the atmosphere. I had to confine myself and the kids inside. You know, it was the best thing to do. So I didn't get to shoot any videos this last week. So what I'm going to be doing today is giving you guys a quick tour of the different things that are happening here in the yardstead. Good things, not so good things, but mostly good things. And I'm excited to share it with you. So come on. So let's start where it's the brightest because it's going to get even brighter. We're going to start here at our Panama berry tree. This we have yet to enjoy a bowl of berries. We've been getting one or two here and there. The birds, the blue jays particularly, have been on this tree relentlessly. And the thing that this bird is doing is not taking the berry. What it's doing is taking its beak and it's squishing all the contents, the beautiful pulp on the inside, into its mouth and leaving everything else on the tree. So I guess I would have to find some way where I can deter the bird, but really and truly, seeing the bluebirds hopping limb to limb is really nice. Uh, I guess I'll have to find a way to deal with that. Let me go on the other side where I can show you the onions. So, guys, this is the suitcase that we planted the onions in, and oh, look, the Panama berries. So you see the bird. What it does, it tries to squeeze the contents into its mouth. I'll give this to the chickens. So I've just shown you guys here the onions. They're starting to bulb up here. They're starting to create onions for us. So far, this container is doing really well. The onions are doing really well in this container. Took a little longer than I expected for it to start bulbing up, to be honest, but they're bulbing up nonetheless. And that's exciting. I'm hoping that I can leave one of these onions. I have to do research on it. I'm hoping that I could leave one of these onions to go to seed because I think that's the better thing to do. Leaving things to go to seed is really a sustainable way of gardening because if you have to keep buying every season seeds, it adds up and it can become quite expensive. So the best way is leaving things to go to seed, saving those seeds, saving that thing that you love so much and keep replenishing your seed bank. So I'm hoping after doing some research, because I don't know if it will go to seed in our tropical climate, I'll do some research and see if it goes to seed. And if it does, I would do that. I would leave one or two onions in the ground to try and get my own seeds. Here is the other half of the suitcase. I'm trying to move this protective layer so that it doesn't be in the way. So this is the other half of the suitcase. You guys can see where we planted the carrots. We planted radishes, which we harvested out already. Those were delicious. And we planted these beetroots. These beetroots are not doing well at all. If you look at the stems, if you look at the stems here, they're not doing well at all in this container. So I'm going to have to try again growing beetroots somewhere else because this did not work out for the beetroots, which is surprising because it's quite a nice um, soil in here, composted stuff. It was really good, nice, rich stuff. Maybe it was too rich. I'm not too sure, but the greens are doing good. I don't know what to do with the greens, but I guess I'll have to do some research and see what to do. But the beetroot itself is not forming beetroots. They're just some long, stringy roots. and not bulbing at all. As regards the carrots, I'm not too sure what's happening in there. Um, oh look, yeah, seeing a head of a carrot. You guys can see it there. Well, I think so. See some carrots forming in there somewhat, but we still have yet to see how this goes. But the greens, they look really well. They look really, really good. This is the little finger carrot, and they look to be growing well in this container so far. Not too sure what's happening in the roots though. I guess we have to wait and see what's happening there. Guys, remember I had a cucumber plant and I had it growing up onto the orange tree. I since pulled it out and I put in a new, I put in two this time in here. So I have my succession planting of cucumbers in. The gumfrinas, they are jamming. I've picked some already. I put them to dry. My plan with these is to cut these and put them to dry so that I can use them in an ornamental way. I'm a person that likes to host a lot of things. I like to host events. So I'm thinking that if I keep cutting these back and saving them, I can use them in decor. The Mexican sunflower has sent out its first bloom, and the zinnias, they are also doing really, really well. You can see how nice and large this flower head is. These also are doing really well. They love shade more than full sun. As you can see, the flowers, they are doing really, really well. Under here, I have what we locally call shadow benny. This is about 2 or 3 inches of soil. Shadow benny doesn't need a whole lot of soil, but it does like the richness. So I mixed in some of the chicken manure, and these guys are doing well. Weeded out the pot, and I put it under here. Shadow benny does well in part shade as well because it grows best on the forest floor. And so I'm trying to mimic that by putting it under here. This is, of course, our oregano. That's doing well as well. That bounced back well. And behind me here, I have our new planting of melons. We have the tiger melon, and the sugar baby watermelon as well. So I have over it a netting because the birds came and cut the tiger melon completely in half, and they left the watermelon. So I had to protect the melons from the birds that come and eat the leaves. I haven't done anything for the pumpkin as yet though, but they're having a feast on my pumpkin leaves. Remember my vision, guys, for the purple and yellow together is coming together and it looks so beautiful. So finally we have in the cosmos, they're finally here with us, and we have the morning glory. So the cosmos is a longer lasting flower. It lasts for a couple of days, whereas the morning glory lasts a couple hours, which is sad, but it's a plant that's prolific in giving the flowers, and it's doing what I want it to do, which is giving me joy, seeing the pops of color all around. So finally, we are at the pumpkin. The leaves all in here died back, and what I did is I took some more bedding, chicken bedding, the composted one as well as the uncomposted one. I put it all here on top of here to refeed the container, and I have reseeded more pumpkins and squashes in these 3 spots that you see here. I put more seeds there, and I've yet to see them germinate. But this is what has happened. The birds have eaten a lot of the vine. Yeah, they've eaten a lot of the vine, the leaves, and the pumpkin vine has seen better days. So I just have 2 butternut squashes on the vine to show. for all my hard work with this pumpkin vine. But as I said, I did some more planting of the squashes and pumpkins. So I haven't given up. I try to be resilient. I try not to let things knock me out of the game. So I replanted those pumpkin seeds, hoping for the best. Keep trying until something works out. It has been super dry. It's been a really, really dry, dry season. And I've been, to keep the plants alive, I had to come out twice a day in the morning and in the evening to water the plants because they are in containers. And the super hot temperatures keep them alive. It takes that extra work. You guys know how much I love eggplant. So this is an eggplant. I don't know what type it is. I do remember, sporadically sowing two seeds, an orange Turkish eggplant, as well as a Japanese eggplant. And I don't know which one this is. When it starts to bear, I guess it will be a nice surprise which one we have. But this is an eggplant and it's doing really well. It's just a couple weeks old, and I have it here in this 7-gallon pot. And yeah, it should be a good eggplant. Yeah, hopefully. So that's what's happening with this. On the side here, we have our bean bag. I stuck in a pimento pepper here in this space because I had no more containers and I didn't want it to die. But the beans on this side, of course, all died up because that was against a wall. But on this side, the beans are doing pretty all right. So I had one die to some kind of, I think, dampening off, you know. Um, but on this side, it has little purple potted beans on this side. And I'm going to allow these to go to seed right away to ensure that I get more seeds because I have no more purple potted. And I did taste one pot. It is an extremely sweet bean raw. So I could just imagine if I saute it, how it will taste. So I want to get these seeds. I want to keep these for seeds. I really hope that I can leave it so that I can get more beans in the future. On this side, I have some green beans that are finally flowering. What I noticed though, beans do not like shade. They don't like any type of shade. So then this is now starting to send out little tiny flowers. So the next time I'm planting beans in a bean bag, I will not put a zucchini on top because the zucchini shaded them. And the zucchini is a very greedy plant. And I will just keep beans alone on a bean tower like this. But as you can see, the plants are pretty healthy. They're pretty healthy, guys. So if you want to try out this experiment, growing in a seed bag, creating your own, you know, DIY stock, vertical growing space, you can check out my video that gives um, what I did to create this using an old feed bag. So as you can see, the zucchini is on its way out. I probably will take this out tomorrow and give it to the chickens. And I would think of what I'm going to put on the top. I'm thinking to plant yard long beans on the top here and allow it just to utilize this trellis some more. Allow it to grow up onto the trellis and do its thing up there. I think that that's what we're going to do because fresh beans is really tasty. On this side, I have my periwinkle. Well, this came up as a volunteer. I don't mind having it around. These guys came up and I'm so happy. That's the thing about letting things go to seed. This is a celosia and this gives texture to the garden instead of having the same old shape, same old colors, same old shades. So this is a celosia. So this will bring up a nice little celosia bloom in the center there. The elephant ears, they're doing well as well. These plants prefer a bit of shade. They do well in shaded areas. Behind me, guys, is my pride and joy. Let me take you guys off the tripod. It's my pride and joy, guys. These are the peppers. Do you remember these peppers? These were my straggling little pepper plants that I was so frustrated with. Look at them now. They are they're at chest height. They are at chest height and they're doing really, really well. Well, I should say too well because they have lots of green growth and very few blooms. Maybe I'm feeding them a little too much, but right now that doesn't really matter. Eventually, I'll get some fruit. But I'm just so happy to see a pepper tree finally grow in my yardstead. It's been years, guys, years since I've had a proper pepper plant in the yardstead. All of them were struggling along the way, and I just this year recognized what my problem was: thrips and spider mites. And let me show you guys how it's looking close up. So remember, you guys, I said I was putting this here so that I can keep monitoring it closely. So just the other day, I had to treat it again. As you can see, the new foliage started to do that wilting, that curling up thing again. So I treated them again, and the newer leaves aren't doing that. They're more so it's something in this area that constantly attacks pepper trees, but the trees are doing really well. This is the jalapeno. There are a bunch of jalapenos in there, some nice sized ones. Yeah, there's a bunch of jalapenos in there, smaller ones, bigger ones. They're all about. And I don't know what pepper this is. I'm thinking it was a banana pepper, but I'm not too sure. I want to show you guys something. Look at this. This is a 1 gallon pot. 1 gallon pot. This is a 3 gallon. This is also a 2 gallon pot. And look at this. The two, they have no fruit on them. They have blooms, but no fruit on them as yet. Look at the 1 gallon. The 1 gallon pot, the pepper tree is fruiting. It's fruiting, guys. The banana pepper on this. So if you have like a 1 gallon pot, you can grow peppers, guys. The pepper seems to prefer that actually. To the when it's confined to less space, it's producing a whole lot more. So these peppers in the bigger pots, they're taller and they're healthy looking, but the 1 gallon pot is the one that is it's producing. Crazy, isn't it? Even the 5 gallon pot here, there's not a fruit on these trees, not any blooms. The blooms are now coming on the top. The blooms are now coming in on the top here, but there's no blooms below. That's interesting. So what I did is this pimento plant. This is a pimento pepper, what we use for seasoning our foods. A very beloved pepper here in Trinidad and Tobago. So I planted this one in a 1 gallon too. I'm hoping that this, you know, at first I was thinking it was too small, but it might be just right. Might make the plant produce more than if it had a bigger pot. Down here I have more peppers that I recently planted out. I'm seeing this happening on the leaves. I'm not too sure why, but the plant still looks healthy. It isn't wilting away. This one, I think it's either a purple bell or a purple cayenne. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm definitely seeing something trying to chew away at my stem. Oh, these slugs. So I'm going to put some slug baits in here. I think it's slugs just eating away at the bark. Slugs like to eat away at the bark of the pepper trees. And so I'll put some slug bait in here and go from there. The tomato tree is doing good as well. It's catching itself. It has some fruit. The kids' first tomato tree that my kids actually came and picked off the tree and ate was this one. The yellow pear is very sweet, very nice tasting tomato. So we have some new blooms going on here. We already picked the ripe ones, and these ones are now coming on. What I noticed though is that these blooms are all holding on since treating, but this is a newer plant. Since treating, all the blooms are holding on. So the culprit is super bright. I can't see what's going on. The culprit is those little tiny trips that like to be in your flowers. So if you're having like tomato blossom drop, it's not always the heat. It's also those little trips that like to be in your flowers that are causing your flowers to drop. And you may need to find some way to deal with those trips in your flowers. Thanks for your patience, guys. I was waiting for the guy who was cutting the grass to finish so that I wouldn't have as much background noise. So yeah, so this is the greenhouse, guys. I still have a couple cauliflower and straw flower seedlings there. But what I've got planted out, a few cauliflowers I plant directly in the soil. But when I chitted them out, I put them directly in the soil and they're doing great. I also planted some corn. I had eight, I think, one, two, three, four. Yeah, eight corn. And in the corner there, I end up stepping on it and breaking it in half. I have a bald spot right there. I sprinkled some carrot seeds there. I don't know if they will come up, but I wanted to try growing carrots in ground because in here is in ground. So I have this corn here. This is called Orchard Baby. You're probably wondering why would I put corn in this space? It's about 6 feet high, and we all know corn gets really tall. But this variety is an heirloom variety that gets no more than 4 or 5 feet tall. So that's why I took a gamble and I planted it in here. It's a sweet corn, and I only planted one corn because if it does succeed, I'm hoping, as I mentioned before, to allow one or two pods to go to seed so that I can continue to have this variety. And it's an heirloom, and to save seeds, it's better to use heirloom varieties rather than the hybrids. Because when you save the heirlooms, you're going to get true to seed fruit, and every time you plant seed from it, you get the same thing over and over again. So that's what I have here: some corn, some sweet corn. Coming down, I have a mahogany cherry tomato. It's a brown cherry tomato, a sweet cherry tomato. As you guys know, we are going to be doing a lot of salads, so that's what I grew that for, to be able to snack on and do salad. So we'll see how it does in here. I also have these four tomato trees. These are, my aunt gave me these seeds. What is it called? A mushroom tomato, a yellow mushroom tomato. It's a bigger size tomato, yellow in color. And I'm hoping when the rain starts, that, being covered, that, being away from all that excess moisture, that they do well here for me in the tropics. Over here, I have some zinnia flowers. I don't know what colors they are. I do know that I planted yellow as well as green zinnias. So I'm hoping to have this pop of color here in this corner. I direct seeded some beetroots here alongside the cardboard. I have yet to see germination from those. And you guys know I have my papaya here already that's growing up outside. So my plan here is to fill this entire row with the cauliflower. Um, it's my first time growing brassicas cauliflower, and it's a variety that I bought that is specifically bred for us here in the Caribbean. I don't know the name of it offhand. I'll put it in the screen. Yep, that's it right there. That's the variety. And so that's what I'm going to be planted here in the corner. Good morning, babies. Y'all wake up? Yes, my love. Yeah, your tablet charged last night. You're so focused on this tablet. Having children to be balanced with devices is one of my goals. It's a difficult task. It's an ongoing challenge, but as you guys know, I never give up. Are you ready for some tea? Yeah? I'll come and make you some tea now. So, guys, I have a bunch of watering to do. You can see the sun is already causing these to wilt down. These are my sweet peppers in here. And you can see, guys, since I harvested out the pak choy, I've harvested, since that video, I've harvested twice. So I had three servings of pak choy from in here. And look, it's still going. So pak choy really is a cut to come again crop. But in here, I have my, oh well, you guys can see it from there. You can see that I have my tomato, my sweet peppers in there. Yes, my son. Huh? They fall on the ground. Thank you, son. I'll pick it up just now. So the pak choy and the tarragon in there, they're doing really well. Before I go down to the back, again, you guys saw when I harvested out from in here, I also harvested once more and it's pulling right back out. So you don't have to have a whole lot of pak choy or bok choy. You can pluck the leaves from the side and it continues to grow really well. Some of the Merlot is going to seed and I'm going to allow it to because I have no other seeds for that, and we love it. It's a very sweet lettuce. Tastes really good in sandwiches. Yeah, this is a new addition. This is a petunia. I got that one just to add a little bit more color. Of course, you guys know this flower here. I never remember the name of it. These are doing well as well. Here I have a, what did you call it? A Confederation rose. That's what this is. Again, everything's starting to wilt. Like I said, I have them watered twice a day, at night and in the morning, to keep these plants going and healthy. So I have to try to finish up this video as quick as possible so that I can get to watering and to start tea for the kids. But this is doing well. It's actually as tall as I am now. I'm 5'5", and it's doing pretty good. My kids came in here and they ripped out all my beautiful leaves and gave to the chickens, and the plant is bouncing back. I also have me here a passion fruit vine. My husband's going to make me a trellis way down in the back. You probably will hardly see this vine, but he's going to make me a trellis for that down in the back. I have actually a whole lot more passion fruit vines that I don't know what to do with. Um, maybe if we could plant it on the extension garden, I don't know. Maybe if we could get there, we would do that. So this is the cucumber vine. It is still a healthy looking plant, but it is on its way out. It sent out more female flowers, but no male flowers. I'm surprised that they actually are growing cucumbers all up there, little tiny cucumbers. We're just going to use those to make juices, and we're going to rip this vine out. As healthy as it looks, it is no longer producing. It's reached its prime and it's on a decline now. So I'm going to rip this out. My husband, he's going to cut this bin in half and he's going to create another planter for me. Epic garden planter. I'm going to call it an epic garden planter, using this drum, using his skills because he is a welder and he will do that for me. We have some mint, they're doing well. I have to get them a new pot. They're looking for room to grow. Oregano, they're doing well. This avocado is doing really well. I want to experiment putting this in a drum this side, filling this with dirt and planting that in a drum like that and see how it does. So on this side here, the pumpkin didn't do good at all. They just didn't do well at all. What I did though, I'm experimenting. I've used leftovers from the celery because you guys know I'm making green juices for my husband. So I said, you know what? Let me see if I could plant it. Even if I get seed, it's a win. So I planted the middle and it's growing. I planted this celery center and it's growing. So we're gonna see how this goes, how this experiments grow. If that celery continues to grow, or if it stays stunted like that. Also stuck some garlic in here. It's growing there as well. Experimented in the corner there, but I plan to put another banana tree right here. The dwarf banana tree is doing really well. Yesterday morning I trimmed, so it's got a little banged up with me trying to reach behind to trim the fence. But the banana tree is doing really, really well. Here, the papaya as well is doing really well. Since treating the yard, everything is producing. Even though treating the yard with stuff from the lab is not highly recommended, it's not the train that many people are on today. They call it the organic gardening. Um, Guys, I was doing that for years and I was struggling a lot to get produce. And sometimes you really have to know what you're after if you're after getting food for your family, because what we buy in the grocery store is way more chemicalized, way more. Some of them are hydroponically grown, which is not natural. Plants are made to grow in soil. So, you know, using a little bit, because I use a very little, a teaspoon of every 2 weeks of something to try and control my infestation. And look, I'm getting production high and low. Over here on this side, I'm getting finally let me switch the camera around. Don't know if you guys know what that is. That's a barbadine. The barbadine vine is finally growing and flowering everywhere. And we're finally getting some fruits happening here. The ginger that I left in the soil is doing well. That is continuing to grow along. So this planter, I'm not troubling it at the moment because it is about to fall apart. And I'm just waiting for my husband to do that planter for me. The strawberry as well, they have recovered and they are going along really well. This is a different variety. You can see it in the stem. This has a more pink stem to this one. It's a different color stem. Um, Strawberry. One I planted from seed and one I planted from fruit. And we're going to see how things progress. Behind me, again, the sugar cane is doing well as well. They've sent out many more sugar canes. This one has started to split, but that's no biggie. That's just, water increasage right there. And it's split. But, as it gets older and those sugars develop, I'm sure we're going to enjoy this very delicious sugar cane. All my ornamentals, as I said, part of gardening is to bring me joy. So I have all my um, ornamentals here, my vervine, my ponytail palm. This was one that I had for inside, but the kids were just pulling the leaves apart. So I brought it outside. And oh gosh, this always slips me, always slips me. But yeah, these are doing really, really well. All of them coming together really well. I cut this back, the fern, I cut it right back, and it is doing much better. In the back here, the pineapple is doing fantastic. It's about the size of my hand now, and it's growing really well. This one as well is doing really, really, really good. This one in the center here, it hasn't flowered as yet, but it's still growing, it's still jamming. The ginger, really and truly, we have a leak in our tank. One of our tanks mysteriously have a hole in it now. So it's constantly dripping water here. So the turmeric, everything is getting flooded out. I have nowhere to put them at the moment, but I definitely have to move these boxes from here and put them somewhere else. But the plantain is loving the water. We had to shift it a little bit because it was a little bit too much water, but it's still getting some, as you can see, the soil is moist. That's what it likes. So that's what's happening there. Plantain is doing really well as well. The volunteer okra is finally taking it off because I again put some more compost on the inside of this planter. This pumpkin in the back here is doing well as well. Here I'm composting in place. I just put some leaves and some um, compost on the top to encourage the leaves below to decompose. My Christophine is not doing good at all. Not doing good at all. Again, like I said, the ones that I get from the market here in Trinidad, I don't know, something about it. It keeps doing this. But I keep having faith that something would happen and that it would catch itself and keep going. But this pumpkin produces this type of pumpkin. You can see that, guys. It's a smaller pumpkin. It's about a 2 pound pumpkin. I got it in Atlanta and I enjoyed it. So that's exciting. So we have a pumpkin going on in there. And this is a different type of okra. I don't know the name of it, but a different type to the one that I was growing all along. More ginger. Guys, I'm sorry the end of the video is rushed, but the babies, they're up. I got the plants to water. And basically, that's what's been happening here in the yardstead. I've been doing a lot of planting, a lot of amending, and keeping the succession planting going by keep ripping out what's on its way out. I mean, we get so attached with the greenery and stuff, but if it's on its way out, rip it out, plant something else, or plant something else and have it ready when you're ripping out this to replace it right away. Guys, thanks so much for joining me today. As always, it's a pleasure spending this time with you. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Join us here in Caribbean Charm and help me to reach it to that first goal of 1,000 subscribers. I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, the little update here in the yardstead, give me a thumbs up. And whatever encouragement you guys could send my way, send it my way, guys. I really appreciate it down in the comment section below. Any tips, anything you're noticing in the in the video that I'm missing, you can also hit me in the comment section and let me know what you are seeing. And let me know what you're growing in your garden. I want to know what you're doing in your garden too. Let encourage me with what you're doing in your garden. So anyway, guys, see you guys in the next one. Bye.